that feels good.
Oh, of course.
When you hurting,
yeah, of course.
the fact that you can have an outlet to just put all that pain into something or someone,
that becomes
release,
an outlet.
That outlet.
And see, that's what therapy is.
And I needed that.
Therapy, what I found,
it because it wasn't normalized in our culture.
Absolutely.
You revealed to me that you recently found some therapy for some things that's going on in your personal space. How has that been for you?
A huge relief. I won't call it a blessing in disguise. It was a huge relief to help me really find answers, man. Help me to understand why. What I've learned is I don't really open up to people as well as some may think. And it's because I I really don't trust people. I don't get close to them because a lot of stuff I saw when I was in prison. I mean, I ain't trying to talk down on nobody. I just saw how grimy people could be, how selfish people could be. You know what I mean? Like I just read some out of my journal, like everybody's watching. You can't lose. You know what I mean? You can't get hustled because if you get hustled and you lose, then you become a target and everybody's going to come after you. You know what I mean? And that was my lifestyle. That was my environment every single day for 6 years and 10 months. Yes, I was blessed through it, but I saw a lot of things that make it hard for me to open up and trust people because people will play up on you and get information on you and use it against you.
Use it against you.
I've seen that type of manipulation. I've seen that as a strategy of war.
Absolutely. And it's so crazy.
So it's hard for me to do that. That's what I really learned in prison. I'm sorry. That's what I learned in therapy that I'm working out, and it's because of my time in prison. If that makes sense.
It makes 100% sense. It's been done to me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of survival of the fittest. It's kill or be killed.
It is.
You know what I mean? Because people will use things against you, and you would be the fool to think that everybody's playing fair.
You know, it seems like at times, man, you really can't tell who's genuinely with you and who has an ulterior motive. You know, it's like people you around all the time, they're just waiting for you to make the wrong move so they can disassociate themselves or take something they heard.
Use it against you.
And just throw it out there.
So
you feel me? And it's like, how do you navigate and work through that? Because you're supposed to build meaningful relationships. But everybody violates people's trust every day. And I'm not a victim at all. I've done it myself. But that's just part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have a strike first mentality.
Yeah.
You just said it.
I used to operate under that code that I get them before they get me. So I haven't been in very many serious relationships in my life. But early on in life, I used to operate by the code that like I was so afraid of being hurt.
Man, talk that talk.
So I felt like it was okay for me to strike first to kind of put this in my bag. So if they ever violated me, well, I already got one up on you. So when you think you got one up on me, technically we even. And that is a very dysfunctional way to live.
In my journey, I found by seeking therapy that it's hard for me to build meaningful relationships with people. And it's because I've seen so much BS in prison, I don't allow myself to get close. It's just hard for me to have like new friends. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a whole lot of new friends in Atlanta, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Like for as long as I've been here.
So Charlamagne always talks about therapy, and he's kind of made, I ain't gonna say he made it cool, but he has definitely did his fair share of removing the stigma away from therapy. for us.
Yeah.
Because coming up, the way we came up in our environment, therapy was for like nutcases. That's what we thought.
That's what we thought. Yeah.
So we thought.
Exposure. We didn't have exposure.
You really had to have a problem. Like something was seriously wrong with you to have a therapist.
Yeah.
A shrink. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Therapy? You know, how many times have that's something white people do.
Especially where we come from.
You know what I mean? And it's
it's
I've never been to
we
therapy myself, but I've definitely been curious to just sit down because there have been things that I've dealt with, and I just take this moment to be like open and vulnerable for a moment because there was something that I dealt with, and man, I knew that wasn't the proper head space to be in. So my brother had passed during COVID, like December. Yeah, December. My oldest brother passed New Year's Eve, 2020.
Oh man.
So that was right around the height of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And we had to find a way to, bury my brother, but it's the pandemic, so we couldn't have his funeral at a church. Had to have a graveside funeral. But the simple fact that we're at the height of the pandemic, and you still worried because my parents are older. So
Absolutely.
you still worried about, you don't want to get them sick.
Absolutely.
I felt like because of that restraint, not wanting to get them sick, so having to do that social distance, I felt for a long time that I never had a chance to properly grieve. You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't like embrace my family, like my mom and my brother, my other brother. Yeah. We couldn't embrace each other because I was so afraid to get them sick during COVID.
Bro, I didn't even know that.
During one of the most difficult times in my life, and I carried that for so long. Like I was a ticking time bomb. I know. And I don't know what it was, how it kind of dissipated to where I feel like I'm better now, but I never really told this to anybody, but just so the simple fact that I never felt like I had that proper chance to like embrace my loved ones and share that grief with them like you would typically do at a funeral.
Absolutely, yeah, get that. You know
what I'm saying? So the fact that I didn't feel like he had the proper due.
Absolutely, you feel like he was cheated.
Because it was a graveside funeral, we couldn't have the proper ceremony. I used to, in my mind, like I'm making my way through this. I'm making my way through this. But I'm just waiting. Literally waiting for something or someone to push that right button. Because
the wish factor.
I wish a mother who would.
Ooh.
Man, I was carrying around it for probably about 2 years, bro. Just waiting and hoping because I had so much hurt.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just pent up grief that I couldn't express and I couldn't properly grieve in that moment, considering everything that was going on. Older parents don't want to get them sick, and the crazy thing about it, like my last day at work before I went home for bereavement, my assistant at work, like the day that I was leaving to go home, she had left the day before to go to the doctor, and like literally like an hour before I left to go home for bereavement, we found out she was tested positive for COVID.
Oh my God.
So I'm going home knowing that the only person that I'm having the most close contact with
got COVID.
Just got COVID. But just found out she was positive. Now I gotta go home to my family. So I'm on extra high alert. And I gotta go home and try to bury my brother, be around my family. So I carried around so much for so long, bro. For about at least 2 years. I really honestly don't know what it was that kind of made that tension and that angst subside. I don't really feel it like I once did before, but for so long. And the fact that you are in therapy, like I needed it then.
Yeah.
Like, cause had
we
something
all
happened.
benefit from coaching.
Had something happened within that span where I was carrying that around, I was just waiting on that when I was in that I wish it would moment. Man,
That could have changed your.
I was literally waiting to
I can
explode
imagine.
because honestly, that feels good.
Oh, of course.
When you hurting,
Yeah, of course.
a fact that you can have an outlet to just put all that pain into something or someone,
That becomes an
release,
outlet.
that outlet,
And see, that's what
feels,
therapy is.
and I needed that.
Therapy, what I found,
because it wasn't normalized in our culture.
Absolutely.
So I salute you for doing that.
Yeah, man. Therapy has been a great outlet because, what does it say? Hurt people. You know, that's why it's important to really talk to somebody, because that session, that time, especially if you have somebody good, that becomes that outlet. And you can get your healing, and you can learn more about yourself. Self-awareness is key.
And I consider myself to be a very self-aware person for the most part, but I always felt like needing that unbiased outlet. Somebody who's trained to kind of listen to what I'm unpacking and give me like some outside looking in perspective on what it is that's going on up here.
That's what therapy is right there. Because a lot of times, think about it. A lot of times when you're sharing something to somebody that you're going through it with, y'all don't really listen to each other. You talk over each other, it becomes an argument. Right? Or you just go into proving a point. Or while that person is talking, you're thinking about what you're going to say next. And that session, man, you get in there undivided. Like I believe in it, and I'm working on it. I'm investing in it, and you just feel so damn good about it because you get an unbiased opinion from somebody that's not in it, and not only are they there to listen to you, they will also call you out on your BS. And so that's the part that I actually enjoy most about it, is because it doesn't feel offensive when that individual does it. Sometimes when people call you on your BS, you know in your heart they're right, but it just feels so offensive because they might not have said it right. And now because you didn't say it right, I can't even receive what you said. Now I'm mad at how you said it.
Right.
Which, again, that's not right either. You know what I'm saying? But still, it just ends up being this cycle of dysfunction. And with a third party, somebody to listen and give you proper instruction, is like, wow, I do that all the time, don't I? You know? And so it inspires you to want to change and get better.
So overall, your experience with therapy has been positive.
Absolutely.
You would highly recommend.
I highly recommend you find a great therapist. Somebody that's seasoned, somebody that genuinely loves what they do. They're passionate about what they do.
So how did that make you feel though? Like when you just sitting there spilling your guts to a stranger?
At first it was weird, but then you realize, man, I ain't no victim by a long shot, right? Like I'm blessed. It just is what it is. But it just made me realize I know a lot of people just listening to me. To me. They might listen to what we tell them to do. You feel what I'm saying? Right. They might listen to the instruction that we give them. You feel what I'm saying? I'm in a position, I'm grateful to, of authority. If I tell somebody to pick up heavier weights, you can do more, yada, 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 they're gonna do it. You feel me? But just me opening up, which doesn't happen, partly my fault, right? I don't give people the opportunity to listen to me. But I was like, hey, I'm paying good money for this. I might as well get my money's worth, see if this shit worth my while.
So seeing that you've had an opportunity to get some professional help in that arena, what would you say to somebody who maybe more like me, who says like, man, I got friends or I got people that I could put this on and I could talk to, What would you say the biggest difference is between seeking a professional help as opposed to just having that support group? Like you can have people who legitimately will hear you out.
That therapist doesn't know you.
Yeah. What does that
He
mean?
won't have a skewed view. People that know you, they tend to love you. And if you're hurt and they feel you're hurt, I love you. I didn't know you was going through that. You feel me? And I know you was in a messed up mindset when you was going through that a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I know that I wish a motherfucking wood mentality is dysfunctional and dangerous. But guess what? I would have been right there with you, dog. And it wouldn't matter what anybody did.
Yeah.
Because I love you. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm there for you. So the majority of the people in our circle, because of their emotions, they're too close to the situation to properly referee it.
Can't get
You gotta have you gotta have an unbiased opinion. There has to be a third party individual that does not take sides, a true referee. Somebody that can hear your heart and hear your BS.
cut through it.
Sometimes it comes all out in one.
I haven't really had a lot of people personally that I know have, went through therapy. But a lot of people that I follow that I don't know in a personal space, they swear by, and a lot of them, of course, they're celebrities. So you may think that, oh, well, they got the money that they can afford it. But honestly, just referring back to where I was at, like the headspace that I was in,
You can't afford not to do it.
I honestly had the situation that I was kind of secretly seeking had presented itself. I could not afford to get that help because who knows? Because it doesn't take a whole lot.
It don't take nothing. It don't take much
It
at
don't
all.
take a lot.
It don't take
just,
much at all.
So
you gotta put the pride aside, let the delusion simmer down, and go get what you need to succeed.
So you feel like a therapist kind of gave you a roadmap?
I feel like therapy has given me an edge. Not just a roadmap, but an edge, a game plan. It's like good coaching. You've always performed your best under good coaching. A good coach is gonna hold you accountable.
Right.
A good coach understands you. He's gonna give you great direction. He's gonna help you understand the scheme that you're in, so you can utilize your skill set to be your best. He's gonna help you understand what the opposing team is trying to do to mitigate your strengths. You follow me?
Right.
It comes with a real life game plan. And that's what I really enjoy about it. It's like I understand my strength, I understand my weaknesses, I understand what's really going on. Oh, I got it. Now I understand what I thought was going on. Because you can tell yourself a narrative that isn't true. Just because you think it, that doesn't make it true. And a lot of people, I'm not afraid to admit it, a lot of people walk around telling themselves a narrative that isn't even true. And because of that, that dictates your behavior. I'm telling myself that you're not going to understand where I'm coming from. So I'm not even going to tell you. I'm not even giving you a chance to understand me because of this BS that I told myself.
I can understand that.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so when you get somebody to help you unpack some things, then you realize, now when I look at people, it's like, wow, everybody got a little razzle dazzle going on. You feel me?
100%.
And so you start looking like, wow, I just told myself this, and this. That wasn't even true.
Right.
So how many people you see that's probably, when you just look around, because I like to people watch. I like to watch people,
Right.
How many people just in a day, you just watch them like, man, I wonder what bullshit story they're telling themselves about something that doesn't even exist. Some people call it fear, depression, anxiety. Like it can come in all multiple forms, but it all starts with that internal struggle, that internal dialogue that's ringing so loud in your ear. And what we fail to realize sometimes is that shit could be wrong.